Well, Sun Shops all started in the summer of 1967 when I first caught a glimpse of Kathy. We secured summer jobs on the boardwalk to help finance our first car purchases and to divert our college expenses. This first meeting would eventually lead to our marriage while students at the University of California at Berkeley in 1970. And in the summer of 1970, we had an opportunity to share our ideas with management of the boardwalk about the future of merchandise. And by early spring of 1971, we were busy preparing to open our first store, Candlelight.
The retail format gave us an opportunity to try out different ideas every year within our existing operations. And some of those ideas didn't go very far, but some of them were good enough to spin off new stores. And so by the mid-1990s, we were operating 7 retail stores in the beach area of Santa Cruz. But the management style we had used, the mom and pop style we had used to set up our first stores, was really wearing thin. There was too much for us to do. And by the early 2000s, as TJ was working in architectural design and Marcella was finishing up law school, and they agreed to come aboard and help us to reorganize from inside out.
One thing that TJ and I are both really proud of is that we were able to reorganize the business to permit expansion, but at the same time our work level, our personal work level, minimized by establishing an inventory system, a point of sale system, and so forth. So we were able to perhaps work more efficiently and yet employ more people, kind of master the skills of delegating and investing more responsibility in more of our teenage and college level employees.
Yeah, I mean, what we used to do when I first got there is the buyers would have to go to the store every day to take inventory with a piece of paper and a pencil, and they'd walk through the store and say, oh, this sold, this sold, this sold. And it took them pretty much the whole day just to do that. And it just, for us to expand, it was just kind of inefficient. So what we did was we put together a whole point of sale system and a warehouse and a delivery system. So now the sales go through to the warehouse, all that merchandise is pulled and delivered the next day. So you're getting replenishment the next day, which is, I think, better than a lot of national chain retail stores. So that's something that we're really proud of.
Marshall and I had always valued having a personal relationship with our employees, and if there came a time of a stumbling block in their lives, if we could jump in, we took pleasure in being involved in how to make their lives better. And TJ and Marcella have taken that to the next level. Although we're more streamlined now, we're still very involved with the young people that work with us.
Yeah, we're still very much a family business, and not just by relation, but just in general by operation. That we employ teenagers often through junior college and college. So it's not rare that we have someone that's worked for us for 8, 10 years, and in the process they bring in their siblings and their cousins, and we have this extended family of employees, and it's really a pleasure to see them mature.
All of our stores are completely different. I mean, that's part of the reason why I think a lot of people don't really know what Sun Shops is, but because every single one of our stores has a different name, it has a different theme.
And it's amazing to watch TJ work, because if you ask him a day before we start a project, what are we doing? He doesn't have a clue. He has a basic idea, but I don't know where it comes from, but it's like magic.
Well, I think TJ and I need to thank my parents for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah.
We would like to thank you for, making it reasonable hours for us to work. Instead of working those 12 and 14-hour days, we actually have a life.
I first met Kathy and Marshall after I arrived here in 1990 to help facilitate the rebuilding of the community after the 1989 earthquake. Marshall and Kathy played a key role in their vision for connecting the downtown with the beach, boardwalk, and wharf. They have brought to the tourist areas something other than the t-shirts. They have brought quality merchandising that the visitor does want to take home with them from Santa Cruz. The addition of TJ and Marcella to their organization is just very impressive. I am so supportive of the next generation being brought into a locally owned business to ensure that that business will continue in Santa Cruz.
So they're definitely a very much community, family-oriented business. One of the biggest in town, one of the ones that, in my mind, does it right. Working for them becomes more than just a job, it becomes a family experience with the mentoring, with the financial aid if need be, with the coaching, and the counseling that goes along with the trials and tribulations of kids these days.
I really believe that both Marshall and Kathy's involvement in community affairs over the last few decades has really reflected not only their interest in promoting the economic well-being of our area, but also to enhance the quality of life in the community that has been theirs now for many decades. I remember Marshall telling me about the concept of entertainment retail when it was just a budding concept in the retail industry, and how he was planning to integrate that concept into their stores at the boardwalk. And I was really intrigued by how engaged they were with the whole retail industry and how they could apply new principles to their operation. Knowing Marshall and Kathy as I do, I know they don't take their success for granted, and they're really quick to attribute it to the long line and succession of employees that they have worked with now for 3 decades or more, and realize that their success is due to the collective efforts of all of those people.
And TJ and Marcella, be prepared for your children in 20 years to be challenging you with their new way of merchandising.